Hey everybody, today we're going to be going over our ultralight bug out get home bag. Stay with us. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. If it's our first time meeting, my name is Justin. We are so glad you're here. If you find value in today's content, be sure you give us a like. Please say something to us down in the comments. We really want to hear from you, how you're preparing. And if you're looking for preparedness and prepper tips and gear reviews, go and hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell for notifications. You'll get notified every time we upload a new video. Today we're going to be going over this ultralight get home bug out bag. This is something that I've been working on for a couple of months. I wanted something that was lightweight, that was going to get me from point A to point B. Now, when it comes to any kind of pack that you're using for survival or hiking for that matter, the ideal weight for a pack is no more than 15% of your body weight. And if you're in really decent shape, absolutely no more than 20% of your body weight. Right now, without the water canisters filled up in this pack, we're running about 14 and a half pounds. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's a pretty minimalist kit, and I'll explain exactly what this kit is for. So each pack in our preparedness plan performs a specific function. And let me tell you what this bag is doing for me. So if I have to get home from a significant distance, so some of my job sites are 45 minutes from home, 45, 50 miles, and if I have a vehicle, great. If I don't have a vehicle, this kit has what I need in it to sustain me for as long as it's going to take me to get home, hopefully 2 or 3 days. Listen, I've got stuff to do, you've got stuff to do. Let's get right into it. Let's show you what's in the gear. First things first, you don't have to have an expensive backpack. So this is one of the Outdoor Products cheaper retail backpacks, kind of a good little day pack. This thing, I've used it on several hikes and on camping and in the woods, and it's held up. I've got this thing stuffed full, and it's very comfortable to carry. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on a bag. We'll link the specific bag down in the description. Let's get into the rest of the gear. So we'll do this in modules, and the first module we're going to talk about is going to be water. Now, obviously we're going to talk about fire as well, because we need to be able to purify our water. And the safest, most effective way to purify water is to boil it. But is it a permissive situation or a non-permissive situation? So the difference between those two. Permissive means I can start a fire. It's not going to matter if somebody sees the light, smells the smoke, or any of that. If it's a non-permissive environment, the fire could give my position away and put me in harm's way. So I want to be able to purify water and not have to start a fire. The first part of that is going to be a container. And what I would suggest is a single wall, not double insulated, but a single wall stainless steel container. Why single wall and why stainless steel? If you did have to start a fire, you could put this container of water directly in the fire and boil your water. I also carry a nesting cup with mine. So that's an additional container. Now, there's a lot of space inside this thing. You can put all sorts of stuff in here. What do I have in mine? Electrolyte tablets. Basically makes water into Gatorade. So to replace your electrolytes, keep you feeling better, keep you moving, keep you healthy. Another container. This container came with my Sawyer Mini water filtration system. Okay? So if you wanted to, you could drink directly out of a stream or creek with this through a straw. Or you could put the water in here and then purify it through that straw. So I have multiple ways to purify my water. And this also gives me an additional container. An additional way to purify water is going to be with these chemical water purification tablets. This is chlorine dioxide. I like these because they fold flat. I can get them very easily into a kit. So I have ways to boil my water. I have a life straw to filter my water, and I also have chemical water filtration tablets. All right, let's talk about the fire module. We went back to permissive and non-permissive. Let's say it's fine for me to start a fire. I don't want to do fire the primitive way. I want to start a fire quickly and easily. And what's the quickest way to do that? Lighters, big lighters. Awesome. So there's ways to keep these in your pack without the button getting depressed and all of your gas leaking out and these things being empty when you need them. So I always have multiple big gliders. Some additional tools. Always good to have duct tape. Duct tape's good for fixing things, tents and tarps and you name it, clothing even, but it also burns and holds a flame, so this can be used to help you start a fire. We have a magnesium fire starter. Magnesium is very flammable. You scrape this off into a pile, and then with a ferrocerium rod, a tinder bundle, and your magnesium, you're able to get a fire started. Alright, listen close. This is one of the most important parts of survival, and I want you guys to remember this, okay? So 3 minutes without air, 3 hours in harsh conditions, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. Being able to breathe is important. We get used to it. But the second part of that, and the reason a lot of hikers and lost persons perish, is because of exposure to the elements, whether that is rain, snow, wind, cold, hot. You've got to be able to protect yourself in harsh conditions. You can get hypothermia, which is low body temperature. You can even get that in the summer if you get wet from being rained on. So there are several pieces, very basic pieces to a shelter kit, and we're going to show you ours for the ultralight bag. So the first part, obviously the clothes that I'm going to have on at the time, is a solid rain jacket. Okay, this is a top and a bottom, very lightweight, stays packed up nice and neat, doesn't take up much room, but always have a raincoat with you. If you go hiking, you go on a day hike, always have a raincoat with you, always have a lighter with you. Now, the sleep system. So there are 4 parts to the sleep system. This is very important and I want you to remember it, okay? Keep this in mind when you're putting your gear together. Something to sleep on, something to sleep in, and something to sleep under, and something to tie that all together. So let me show you all those separate pieces. So something to sleep on. You are going to need something between you and the ground, okay? You will maintain more body heat if there is a barrier between you and the wet, cold ground. You'll stay much warmer during the night and wake up a lot more comfortable. So an easy, lightweight way to do that is to purchase the 3mm contractor trash bags. I keep 3 in this kit. So these function as several different things. This can be used as a poncho. This can be used to carry water. Can do all sorts of stuff. But I can also unfold these, lie these on the ground by themselves, sleep on that to prevent that heat from escaping through conduction. Or I can stuff these with leaves or pine needles that further insulates me from the cold weather. So this is something to sleep on. Something to sleep in, okay? These are called bivvies. So what a bivvy is basically a space blanket that is also a little bitty sleeping bag, okay? So they fold up very, very small, and I won't open this up because I'll never get it back in there. But basically, the outside of this is camo. The inside of this is a mylar-like material that is going to reflect about 90% of your body heat back onto you. So instead of carrying a big bulky sleeping bag, which is just not practical with this type of kit, this is what I'm going to sleep in. This is my sleeping bag. This is my bivvy. So I've got protection from the ground, protection from the elements. These are waterproof as well, and this will keep me warm and reflect my body heat. So get you a life bivvy. Something to sleep under. Tarp. Any type of tarp shelter is going to be very effective for any kind of survival situation. It's not always about your resources in a disaster or an emergency or survival situation, but it is always about your resourcefulness. Your skills are more important than your equipment. The more skills you have and that you have practiced and honed, the less equipment that you need. So being able to set up some simple tarp shelters is very important. This is a 7-foot by 9-foot ripstop tarp, weather resistant. It's got grommets that are 3 to 4 feet. So this is what we sleep under. This is our tent. Now, what do we need to put a tent up? We're going to need cordage, which is one of the 10 C's of survival. So we have 100 to 200 foot of 550 cord, and this is something that's very lightweight and just makes putting the tarp up a little easier into different configurations. These are some tent stakes, very lightweight, very small, about 95 cents a piece, and I've got 6 of them in my pack. So that is our sleep system. Something to sleep on, something to sleep in, and something to sleep under. Food. What are we going to eat? Food can get heavy. Now, what's the goal of this pack? One more time. I'm trying to get from point A to point B. So what do I need to do that? I need some calories. And I also need something that's fairly lightweight and easy to pack. So what are we going to eat? That's what we're going to eat. So this is the emergency food rations. There's a couple of different brands of this. SOS is one of them. This is the brand we have. This is apple cinnamon. They have coconut. They have lemon. So this is super concentrated. It's 2,400 calories within this whole pack. So you can break individual bars off and eat these on the way. All I need is calories. I just need energy, and this does not take up a lot of room in my pack. So these things are very shelf-stable. They actually put these on lifeboats in the ocean. This is what the food is out there for them, for those that need to be rescued. So we carry this in the pack. This is all I'm going to need for 2 or 3 days. This will sustain me. You can go 3 weeks without eating food. This is going to keep me fed on the way home. All right, moving right along, let's move on to the next module, and that is first aid. If you have not learned first aid and CPR, take you a course. They're on the internet, they're in person, American Heart Association, American Red Cross, several other organizations. But you need to be able to take care of yourself during an emergency. And one benefit of being a prepper is a lot of times we end up being a resource for people in non-disaster situations. We've been trained in some things. We've been trained in some first aid. I will say this, your first aid kit will probably depend on your amount of training. So if you have had advanced medical training, I'm a paramedic. That's my day job. Been doing that for 20 years. So I have some additional things in here that I like to keep. Some things that I would like to use on myself. We'll give you a few suggestions, but generally a first aid kit that you're going to be able to take care of cuts and scrapes and things like that. This one is by Be Smart, Get Prepared. This came pretty fully stocked. I've added a few additional things to it. It's got cold packs, band-aids, alcohol, preps, Neosporin. I've got some bandage shears in here, some safety pins, we keep a tourniquet in ours. Being able to control hemorrhages and bleeding is something that's very important. Tourniquets are relatively inexpensive, and there's also a program nationally called Stop the Bleed. You can go on the internet and take that, and now you know how to use a tourniquet. So go get that training. These things come in various sizes, various prices, but you need to be able to take care of yourself if you get a cut, a scrape, a bump, something like that. You got to have a first aid kit in all of your gear. So those were all the big modules. Now we're just going to get into some of the additional tools that I carry in the pack. I always want to have something for cutting, which is another one of the 10 C's of survival. This is a Gerber strong arm fixed blade. We'll have a link for this down in the description. Awesome knife. You can do all sorts of stuff with that. Another one of the knives that we carry is a survival knife that you can get off Amazon for about $25. Well, kind of cool that happened when it did. So, this is our communication. This is a ham radio. Now, in order to talk on ham radio frequencies, you have to be a ham radio operator. We'll link you to a video that'll tell you an easy way to do that. I got my ham several months ago, technician level, as a preparedness tool. Being able to be situationally aware of what is going on within your local area with law enforcement, fire, EMS, public works, not to mention being able to talk to regular people, other ham radio operators in your area, to be situationally aware. So we'll put that link up in the top right, my left, and you can go watch that video, and we'll have more info coming up in future videos on the operation of ham radio. This is a Beifeng UV5R, and we'll have a link for this down in the description. Ham radio is actually not that expensive to get into. This is a relatively inexpensive radio, and with some cheap upgrades, you can get really good coverage with it. Now, one more awesome tool you're going to want to have in your fire kit is beeswax candles, okay? You can find these in the camping gear section at most stores. We'll have links in the description. Several purposes. If I just want some low-level light, these things are great. And each one of these candles lasts 9 hours, and there's 3 of these candles in this pack. Now, there's another reason you want to be carrying a beeswax candle with you, and that is being able to start a fire in wet conditions. And we'll have a video for that coming up here soon. But if you want to be able to start a fire when it's wet, it can be a lot easier with a candle. You better have some extra socks with you. Taking care of your feet in a survival situation, man, you're not going to be happy if you get the swamp foot. Wool socks are best. They'll keep your feet warm even when they're wet. You can dry them out by the fire, not really worried about them catching on fire. Always have a couple extra pairs of socks in your gear. So we carry 2 pairs of additional socks. Obviously, flashlight with extra batteries. We're going to have a couple of those. We're going to have a headlamp in ours. You always want to have a multi-tool within any of your kits. Duct tape is another great option. All sorts of uses for this, guys. To show you this real quick, we're going to push you off to another video up in the top right corner if you want to go look at it on the Maxpedition Micro Pocket Organizer. This is where we keep all of our everyday carry equipment. This bag goes from bag to bag within my kits depending on what the situation is and what we're doing. You can get all sorts of stuff in here, and we keep a lot of additional equipment in here. The Tiny Survival Guide. I don't claim to know everything there is about survival in every specific situation within survival. This is a pretty cool little tool. We keep this in all of our packs. Very small and packable. Thank you guys for tuning into today's episode on our ultralight bug out get home bag. 14.5 pounds, point A to point B, light. Not going to kick your butt hiking it. You just want to get home, right? If you enjoyed the content today, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, bell, info at SafePrep10.com. We help families prepare. We're ready to help you. I'm Justin. Until next time, folks, be safe.